Ciao, dear hearts. It's Filming Friday, and we're back in the studio with you again. It's so lovely to be back here with you. We had a very nice vacation. We had a staycation, as Don called it, and we didn't go anywhere, obviously, but it was really nice. But it is really great to be back here and to be with you today. And I thought we were going to be doing some monoprinting with watercolors, but they just didn't turn out the way I wanted. So we're doing something completely different. It is monoprinting, but it's with a completely different media. So I think you're going to enjoy that. And for those of you who are brand new, my name is Caterina. My husband Don is our videographer, and we've been creating this channel for 3 years. I am a professional mixed media artist, and I'm represented by a studio by a gallery in Fort Collins, Colorado. And if you're interested in purchasing my work, you can go on the site. Don will have that listed, and you just click the tab that says 142 Best Gallery. You can view everything in the gallery that's on that site, or you can call the gallery and make a FaceTime appointment, and Meg will give you a tour. There's lots of art in the studio and in the gallery that's not listed in the online gallery. So there's that. The other thing is Don just created a tip jar. So if you are interested in leaving a tip for us, we appreciate that. The other way you can support us is through our Amazon. And so we always appreciate your thumbs up, your very kind comments. I try to get back to every one of you for sharing, and thank you for your subscriptions. We really appreciate it. So let's get started monoprinting. So I want to start out by sharing the prints that I made, and instead of using watercolors, I used Caran, and those are water-soluble pastels for anyone that doesn't know. And I wanted to do something that had more control. The watercolor technique I felt was just too sophomoric, and I wanted something that gave a more painterly effect, and I felt like I really accomplished that with the water-soluble pastels. So I made these prints, and I used a variety of papers, obviously old book pages, watercolor paper, and then this is Cotty paper. And you know, all of these supplies you can get on our Amazon links. And I made them with this. So what I did was I used a plastic page protector, and I just covered this up, and then I drew it out and colored it. And I'm going to show you how to do that technique. But first I wanted to share with you what some of the prints turned out. So now these came out of a butterfly book. So you can use a book, you can use a picture, you can use a photograph that you've done or created, or like this came from, the landscape came from this. And so you can use a variety of different images with this technique. And I just love the way they came out. And remember that they can reactivate. So you can go back and fill in what you want, or leave it blank, whatever you want to do. Okay, so I tried using plexiglass, and I did not like it at all. So then I cut up the page protector into smaller pieces, just ripped it up and then cut it into smaller pieces so that I could use a variety of different sizes, which works out absolutely perfectly. Now I will tell you that the Caran will etch your plate no matter what you're using. If you're using plexiglass, if you're using plastic, it doesn't really matter. It's going to definitely etch it. And so if that bothers you, maybe you don't want to do it, but I mean, page protectors, really, I mean, you know, you can just buy a bunch of those. So this is our plate, and I worked up this piece here to show you. This is one of my photographs. It's a personal photograph. And then I simply colored the plate. Now, you can color the plate dry, or you can do it wet and pull your print. The difference is that when you do it dry, it's really light. And when you do it wet, obviously it comes out much darker. But when you are inking up your plate with your water-soluble pastels, sometimes it will be a little dry, so it will be a little bit lighter, but you're making a print, okay? You're not making something that has absolute perfection. You're not using a pencil to draw with. You are using it to color in what you want. And that's what I did here. So you can see that I used the plate, and then we'll pull this later so you can see what it looks like when it comes up. I just simply taped it to my table. Okay, so you need your pastels, and I'm using this set of, I think it's 30, which is a really nice color selection. And you're going to need some water. You just need a shallow dish, and you need a sponge and tape to hold everything down, and you need a pencil sharpener, because you can sharpen these and you can get a really nice point and get a finer detail than you can doing other prints. So it works out really well. I love it. It's one of the things I love about it. The other thing that I love about it is that I actually LOVE love this, is that anyone can do this. If you can trace a picture, if you can color, then you can make a print like this. And I think they come out just so beautifully. Like, it's such a painterly effect. And remember, you can reactivate it too. So let me share with you how I did this. So I simply take my crayon, dip it in the water, and then I just start painting my flower. Okay? And you're just going to keep going and just adding more color to it. Now it's going to shrink back a bit once you do it, because that's just the nature of the beast, okay? But what's great is that once you finish, I'll show you this one, once you finish it, now you can actually see where you need to go back and fill in, where it's kind of, it shrank away from the edge of what you were doing, okay? So to get this black to come back in, I can just come back and fill it in. So that's pretty fun too. So just keep filling it in and adding different colors. You can blend colors. So, and hey, let's face it, blending, coloring, I mean, it's just so meditative, right? It's just lots of fun. So I enjoyed, doing this so much. And then here's what it looks like. And then you can just put it back to see where you are, see what you've got to finish, and fill in. So it's a super simple technique. I just love it. LOVE, love it. Okay, so if you're working in a book like I did for this butterfly, all you have to do is just put one piece of tape down, and then you can just follow it. You can just follow the design that you want to do, and then you can flip it back so that you can see exactly where you need to go back and color more, or if you're satisfied with it, just pull the print. And I'm pretty happy with this, and I thought we would pull this print and then see what the ghost prints look like. So I'm just gonna really carefully, lightly pull this out. If you have a glossy page, obviously it's going to be better than if you have just a plain paper page. And now I'm going to pull the print. Okay, so I have my print, or I have my plate taped down to the table, and I have a makeup sponge that I'm using to get my paper wet. Now, I have tried a spray bottle, and I tried immersing the paper, and those were all epic fails. So you don't want it to be too wet, but you want it to be wet enough to pick it up. And I wish I could tell you how much water that is, but I don't know. I mean, you just have to keep playing with it and trying it out. So if it's too wet, it's going to be it's going to smear. Like, here, let me show you this one. One of these butterflies had a really good smear. So you can see the smear right here. Now, I like it, and some people might not like it, but you're making a print, so you are going to get blobs and things that happen with it. So, and that's the ghost print. So let's try it and see if we've got enough water. And what's the worst that can happen? You just have to color it all back in, right? I mean, if you get too much water, just wipe it off, and then you can put this down. Now here's the beauty of this. You can do it both ways. You can take this and put it on the paper and then actually see what's going on. But I kind of like a surprise now and then, don't you? Okay, so we're gonna lay it down. And the mistake I just made was I didn't tape the other end. So you're gonna wanna do that. You're gonna definitely wanna tape it. And you're gonna take a bone folder, and just like you would do a transfer, you're going to rub it. And then pull back and see, how is it coming out? Looks pretty good. But I can see that this area isn't coming through. And we want that to show up. Now I'm going to pull up the other side. Almost. Okay, so you could do it dry, you can do it wet, but when you do it wet, it comes out so much better. Okay, so there's my print. And I like it, I'm happy with it. Now we're going to do a ghost print and see how that turns out. Okay, so I've taped the plate down twice, top and bottom now. That should be a little bit easier, but you can still see there's quite a bit of pastel left on here. And so I'm going to use an old antique book page. Now, book pages are super thirsty. When you use them in art, when you use them in collage, you have to remember they are just going to soak up paint, anything gel medium, they just suck it dry because they're so thirsty. They've been sitting there for so long, they're so old. So I used a little bit more water on the book pages than I did on the regular watercolor and Cotties. Okay, so I'm gonna lay this down because I thought it would look really kind of cool on an old book page. And what I found is with the book pages, it kind of just sucks right up into the plate with your pastels on it. It just sucks on there. I don't know why it creates that kind of a vacuum, or a suction is the word I'm looking for. I sometimes lose my words when I'm working. I don't know. It's really hard to talk and work at the same time. But anyway, here it comes here. And you have to use a bone folder. I tried other things. It just didn't work. You could use a spoon if you don't have a bone folder. Okay, let's see how this side is coming. That looks pretty good too. Oh, it's going to be really nice, I think. So I made several prints and I really enjoyed doing it, and I thought it would be fun to share this technique with you, because you have so much more control. I mean, when you're using watercolor paints, it's basically taking the tube and putting it on the plate, or painting it up and letting it dry and then pulling it off with a super wet piece of paper. I just didn't feel like I had as much control as what I wanted. And I like the fact that it looks kind of faded, like an old print on antique paper. I really love the way that looks. I think it looks really awesome. Okay, so for this one, I have watercolor paper as my substrate, and this was, if you remember, this is my personal photograph, which I love that you could just shoot your own photos and use them all in your artwork. But if you don't have them, or if you can't do that or whatever, you can use any other kind of image you want. Now this time I have my substrate taped to the table, and we're going to turn our plate over, and use that technique so you can see how that goes. I need to dry my hands off so that I don't smear my plate, which is completely dry. And it's going to look like this on here. So it's going to be an opposite image. And now we're going to rub it. And you might find that you like it like this better, that you think it's easier to do it this way. I don't know. And you can tape your plate down too if you want. I hadn't been doing that, but you certainly could do it. Okay, I'm going to pull this back and see where we are. Okay, so I can see that this hasn't connected here. Okay, that looks pretty good. I like it. Okay, now let me show you a little trick. So you've made your print and now you say, I would really like to have a small print right here. So just take a small piece of your page protector and then create something on your plate. Lay it here and say, do you like that? Do you like the colors? Is that what you want to go there? And then all you have to do is wait for it to dry, turn it over and put it down on your print. So it turns out, I mean, there are so many things that you can do with this. It's so versatile. That's why I love it. Well, we are almost at chow for now. I have a couple of other tips for you. I know somebody's gonna ask me, well, what else can I do with these? So you can absolutely cut them out, put them into collage. You can collage on top of them. I mean, there are so many different things that you can do with them. Just have fun with it, play with it, see what you think. And I hope you enjoy it as much as I did. I loved making them. And all I can say is be well, stay home, be healthy, and we send you our love. So until next time, ciao for now.